just happen all the time in Carroll County. I'm just saying. It's a very, very unlucky place to live. They dropped the charges because it was accidental. You don't accidentally run over somebody and back up and try to do it again. Let's start from the beginning as investigative reporters, right? So you would ask the questions who, what, where, when, and why. Should be easy, right? Of course it is. Yes, I know, you're innocent until proven guilty, but what good does that do you if you are not alive?
I love this music. Especially love it because it's royalty free. But I love it anyway. Hello, my silky friends. How are ya? What are you doing? Did you all have a good Memorial Day? I hope you did. Well, if you're watching this on the replay, because I know this is all out of timing. If you're watching this on the replay, tell me, what did you do? Did you cook out? My daughter was asking me, like, why do we do this on Memorial Day? It's supposed to be a sad day, but we're all cooking and eating. So, yeah, I don't know. Did you all? I did not cook. A friend of mine makes some homemade tamales, and she sells them for fundraising, and that's what I did. I did. I made some Spanish rice to go with it. Okay, I cooked a little bit, but I didn't grill out. I see, Laura, that you are going to watch this on the replay. That's okay. Daniel Berry, hello. Hello, Mythical. Hope you had a good holiday. Buckeye, hope you did too. Diddle. Whoop, whoop. Let me get down here. I can't even get down to the bottom of this. I'm having so many. Oh no, Mythical. What, you were sick? Aw, I'm sorry. Yeah, some of you, we're going to chat tonight. I do have a lot of things that I want to bring up, but I wanted it to be a little bit more relaxed because I just miss y'all. I just love to talk to you, hear what you're doing. I'm making a lot of changes. In small ways. It's not going to be drastic, so, don't get your panties in a wad. That's what we say here in Alabama. Don't get your panties in a wad. But anyway, yeah, I'm going to make some changes. Some of you have commented on the hair. Yeah, look, don't get used to the blonde. It's probably not going to stay. I used to be blonde like for years. And I don't know. It started lightening up when I was outside doing a lot of searching and stuff. And then I was like, I had 10 years of just being dark. And sometimes they were the dark years. So I'm like, what every woman does, right? Every woman, when she wants to change, when something is going on in her life that she doesn't like, whether it's a breakup, whether it's some kind of event like that, we either cut our hair or we color it. So there you go. That's what I did. I decided not to cut it. I did that last summer. Hello, CW. Nina. Thank you, Mythical. Yeah, like I said, don't get used to it. Do you like it better, darker or lighter? I mean, I'll probably keep it lighter for the summer, but after that, I don't know. it's different. I needed a change because I just did. You know, sometimes you need to get out of the place that you were in. And by the way, somebody the other day, oh, thank you, Nina. Um, somebody the other day on my last stream, because I said I was meeting some old friends, just so you know, let me put a disclaimer out here. I was not on a date. I told y'all a couple of episodes ago, I will not marry a man from Alabama, so why date one? No, but I am catching up with old friends and trying to put some balance in my life. Thank you, Karen. Hello to you. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what we're going to do. It'll probably go, even if I keep it blonder, it'll probably be a darker version. But I've been sitting in the sun. So one of these days, I'm going to get on here and I'm just going to be all tan. And you're going to say, what happened? So anyway, all right. We're going to talk about several different things tonight. And I'm going to try to keep up as much as I can in the chat. Man, that Delphi, if you follow Delphi, that last Delphi live I did, woo, that stirred up a hornet's nest, didn't it? Oh my gosh. Got a lot of trolls, got a lot of nasty comments, got some threats, whatever. I don't regret a thing. So just so you know, but yeah, people have a right to say what they want, and they, I can't vet anything. I don't live in Delphi. I don't live in Indiana, so I have no idea. But I will tell you that it definitely hit a lot of nerves with 4 pits. So, yeah, it is what it is, I guess. We're gonna talk about. I've got a new missing person. Man, this is upsetting too. I'm starting to get very, very worried. And I did a TikTok. I have had a TikTok for a lot. Look, I had an account, a personal account on when it was still Musically, but that's only because my daughter wanted to do stuff with me back then. I really don't like TikTok. I hate it, but it is a good source of information, and I did do. So if you don't follow me on TikTok, please go, because I'm going to try to do more stuff there, even though I don't like it. Yeah, CW, didn't it just touch a few nerves? Absolutely. Woo, it was crazy. But yeah, I'm going to, let's see. I want to talk just a little bit about Delphi, because some of y'all had some really interesting comments. And I just wanted to share a little bit. And the reason I'm not going to do Delphi like in big, when there's a doc drop, when something happens, I'll cover it. Basically, we're waiting for trial or something else. It's Delphi. It's the dumpster fire of true crime. That's what it is. So the Delphi dumpster fire, when something happens, I'll cover it. But there are some really important things to talk about. And a lot of things that I'm researching. But this one was somebody, Brian Watson, left a comment. And I was going to ask y'all about this. In an earlier Kelsey German interview, I swear I heard that she gave her phone to Liberty that morning. Can anyone confirm yay or no? If it was Kelsey's phone, maybe the unaliver left it to tie Kelsey to the scene of the patties themselves. I mean, I don't know. I've heard different things. Brian, I've heard that Libby was using, because hers was reset, blah, blah, blah. I've heard different phones that she was using. An old one. I wouldn't personally think that she had Kelsey's actual phone, because what teenager is going to go, especially because she was going to work, I wouldn't think that she had her actual phone. But, I mean, I don't know. I don't know if y'all have ever heard of that. And would the reason be to tie Kelsey to the scene? I don't know. I mean, she was the last person that we know of to see Libby and Abby, so I have no idea. Oh, okay. Thank you, Digital. I did ask that on my last Delphi. So HCC says he's near certain the dark SUV with stickers is Betsy Blair's. Okay, well, that makes sense because Betsy was at the bridge at that time. We know what time she was there, and we know who she saw. Not an older guy. She's the, if you can't remember, Betsy is the one that was about 50 feet away from Bridge Guy. She said he was young, in his 20s, and, okay, Nina, yeah, just come back with us. We'll be here. She said he was young, poofy hair, in his 20s, maybe early 30s, but he was the young guy. Looks nothing like Richard Allen. So that would make sense if she was the one parked over there. Elna, my blood pressure goes high about Delphi because I cannot bear to see someone busted, i.e. R.A. You know, the Delphi dumpster fire has taken up a very, very large part of my life, and I get upset about some things too. And the bottom line is I just want justice for Libby and Abby, and I don't care. Just so you know, I am gonna do a strictly Delphi live probably within the next 4 or 5 days. I've got to work the next 3 days, so I don't know if I'm going to have time to go live or not. I might Thursday night. But there are some things that I want to say because I went back and looked at a video I did it's almost a year ago. We're right at that mark. And I'm like, I do not change. So, my audience was smaller. I wanted to play parts of it, not the whole thing. It was the live that I did with Misbehaved. And there are things I don't back up at all. The things that I thought last year, I still believe this plays into it. Now, the individual players, I don't know. Four Pits has his, info on that. And definitely some of the people I mention are some of the people he mentioned. But, he knows a lot more about this than I do. But I do want to share something else. This was so long, but I don't care what side you are on in Delphi. This makes sense. So let me look at this. I might have to put my glasses on. All right, this comes from Shay Watson. And let me just, because I'm going to, hold on. I didn't want to put my glasses on. But I think I'm going to have to stop this for a second. This goes back to the last Delphi where I was asking, when we had the whole panel on, I think, of why hasn't he rolled, if, he's involved, why hasn't Richard Allen rolled on anybody, right? Because he's been in prison. Why hasn't he just, And Shay has a very good thought. He hasn't rolled on anybody because he is still under their control and the lives of his wife and daughter. Absolutely. I mean, he does have to think about it, and he is totally under the control of, Westville or Wabash now. Let's see, where are we at? He is in a viper pit. Well, I think he was in that in Delphi too, if you ask me. He sort of did start to tell more when he exposed the Odin connection. And I don't know if that was his idea or the defense. I mean, I don't know. And look at everything that has happened since then. Now, even his judge is writing orders not to mention any of that in trial. It is so obvious to us what is happening. Everything that the state has withheld that the defense does not even have or know, then the judge takes away the option of discussing anything they do have. Exactly. Okay, now as us who are, I'm still on the fence, but I'm way more pro-defense than I am anything else. But I still question. But we're definitely in this boat. But if you're pro-prosecution, just listen, okay? Don't go away. Whether it came from their own investigation or discovery, talking about the prosecution, however, however, the pro-prosecution folks cannot set aside their bias, which is abnormally intense. I agree, it is abnormally intense. That there are so many constitutional violations, and sooner or later, that is going to be in every backyard in America. Once we all stand idly by and allow our rights to be dissolved, we will never get them back. Totally agree. I wish I could have a civil conversation with some of those people and just ask them, wouldn't you rather allow him all of his due process rights and be found guilty beyond a truly reasonable doubt than to throw him under the bus because you have sided with the corrupt politicians, than to turn a blind eye to what you know will be his fate in prison without having all the facts, and leaving an entire society of perpetrators and chomos to carry on? Exactly. Would you want this judge overseeing a case you've been accused of, guilty or not? That's what I would ask them. I have said from the beginning that his connection to this is Sudafed, and that is not good either. But I think he was easy. His wife had been away. He was not used to being alone, and he got caught up. Now, I don't remember his wife being away. I like, if that's true, that's just, But this is my whole take on it. Again, if he's guilty, wouldn't you rather it be constitutionally, everything, every T crossed, every I dotted, so that we can have true justice? Because if he's guilty, I want him put away too. And that's been my biggest fight in all this. Y'all know I try to stay balanced on this, even though, like I said, I heavily lean towards RA is innocent, but I'm not 100% sold on that until right now. Okay, right now, today, I am. But I am open-minded enough to say, hey, do you have some good, true evidence? Then I'll be okay with that. Okay? I'll be okay, and I'll say, yeah, he's guilty. What I am having the problem with is our constitutional rights and the whole circus that this has become. Because, yeah, I worry about me, my kids. What happens when you set a precedent for this? I've said this a million times, but that is absolutely the whole argument here. From a lot of us, y'all, pro-prosecution people need to realize that we're not just saying, oh, RA is innocent. Is guilty. No. Ooh, I need a nap. We're not just saying, hey, RA is innocent. We just believe it because we believe it because blah, blah, blah. We're saying constitutionally, this is wrong. A lot of us are not just all on that boat for, we're not on the bandwagon. We're on the bandwagon of justice, okay? So please understand that when we argue these points, and especially when I'm reading these court documents and stuff, and I get all fired up, and I get in my mode, and I'm like, I'm calling Holman, Jer, because I'm just all worked up about it. But it's not because I have anything personal in this. It is because RA is not being treated fairly. That is my issue. People are lying. Holman's lying. I don't know what these police in Indiana are doing. But there is stuff that is not okay. That is my problem. Whether RA is guilty or not, I do not know if he was involved. I will say 100%. I do. There's a lot of things, 100%. That the timeline is bogus. As far as when the girls were unalived. Complete crap. And I've said that for a long time. But the rest of it, I don't know. I do know that I 100% don't believe that RA was the perpetrator of the worst part, if he is involved in all. That's my opinion. But regardless, he would still be put in jail because of the laws of Indiana. He would still be involved. I mean, it's not going to be good for him. I just want justice, okay? Yeah, CW, exactly. Digital, the geofence evidence is either incriminating or exculpatory. How can the state ask or even suggest that it not be used during the trial? Right. Well, if they are asking that it not be used, then guess what? It's exculpatory. That is my opinion. And they're saying, oh, we don't know who those cell phones that were down there at the crime scene in the middle of the afternoon. There was 3, right? 3 other cell phones that picked up in that geofence. But you don't know who they are, really. Because, the FBI seems to be able to watch some of these other cases, watch some other crime shows, how they take even burner phones. Hey, because Rex Heuermann, the Long Island SK, he had burner phones. But yet they were able to put it together and find out who that was. So don't tell me you can't figure out who these people were who were at the crime scene that was probably not a crime scene, okay? I don't necessarily think that these people whose phones were picked up during that time are involved. They could be, but they could also not be. They could have been just random kids or whatever down there at the crime scene. But you can't say that. You know why you can't say that? Because then that screws up your timeline. And that makes everything you said a lie. Yeah. So you can't say that either, right? All you can say is, we can't seem to find whose phones those were. Sorry, that's my stupid voice. I know it's stupid. But yeah, that's... Hello? Knock, knock. No, nobody's home. Nobody's home in this case. Anyway. So we'll see. We'll see. I still have people all the time telling me this isn't going to go to trial. Something's going to happen before. I hope it's not a bad thing that happens, but it's the dumpster fire. So anyway, let me go back to, all right. That is my interest in Delphi. And then we're just waiting again, because as soon as I say, it's like magic. Okay. It's a magical thing. Whenever I say, okay, I'm done with Delphi, I'm done. Nothing to say. We're going to work on some other cases. Then something major happens in Delphi. Every single time I say, I'm done, not covering it for a while, it's like, poof. Whatever. So I'm not going to say it anymore. I'm going to say when something happens, I'll cover it. But let's go on, because there are some really, really interesting things in some of these other cases. All right, I didn't put Riley's name up here. Let me just say this once and for all you Riley Strang people. I've done a bunch of videos on it. I will also do some more videos on the smiley face SK. If you haven't, but I've seen a lot of people in different groups say, hey, is there any smiley face? I'm like, okay, I don't know what to tell y'all. I put it on there. I'll comment. Yes, there is. Yes, there is. There also appears to potentially, I think that's the number 22 up there in the kind of in the middle of the door. There is graffiti here. There's graffiti. There's not a lot of graffiti in that area, but there is on the rail. The Sunday that I went up there with Buck, I took video of all the graffiti. So yes, there is graffiti in the area, some gang related stuff, and a smiley face. These are the earmarks along with everything that happened to Riley. And we're going to talk about something else that is not the same MO as Riley. But, yes. Does it have every earmark of smiley face? Yes. And I didn't buy it. You heard me. You can go back and watch where I was saying, nah, this didn't have anything to do with it. Until I took that deep dive and I'm like, holy crap. Yeah, it does. It is the same exact earmarks that we know of so far. Now, both autopsies results are back, but neither have been released to the public. Although I heard a week or so ago that the private one that the family did is going to be released to the public soon. Soon. I don't know what soon means. I am interested in a couple of things. I am interested in, did Riley have GHB in his system? What was his blood alcohol content? And did he have GHB? Now, I was also reading, and I don't know what I did with it, but I was reading about GHB and how it can give you like a really, I know you stumble around and stuff a lot, but, and you're very like intoxicated, but it also gives you kind of like a rush feeling. And it made me wonder, is that why we saw Riley? Because we speculated so much when Riley's running and he comes around the corner, there's a food truck there, and then he falls on his face right there by the light pole. It makes me wonder if, I mean, I think he definitely had GHB, but was he running? People have thought, oh, well, somebody was chasing him. He was scared. He could have just been running because of the GHB. But until we see the autopsy report, we don't know. I also want to see if they say he had any injuries or not. And the most important thing that I want to see, besides the GHB or Rohypnol, I want to see if what they put the time of death as, because that is going to be a big factor. Okay. Now, but let me just say once and for all, for any of y'all who think that Riley does not have the earmarks or smiley face is not involved, go study it, okay? Because the theories on this, and I don't know what the problem is, why people are saying, oh, no, that's crazy. Because if you think that it's crazy, then you think probably somebody was following him, maybe. You definitely think the homeless are involved. Well, guess what? Welcome to Smiley Face. Yeah. That's all the earmarks. Okay? The whole thing is like the most classic case you could ever, see. However, did it happen? Is it Smiley Face? I don't know, but there's every single mark that anybody could be looking for. All right? And I've done videos on that. Okay, Buckeye, what's up? The government always wants to have hearings. Why don't they have hearings about why these toxicology reports take so long? Yeah. Well, I don't know. They want the lab to be correct, and we want the lab to be correct too. I don't know if it's a backup of, whatever. I haven't ruled out also, and a lot of people have sent me stuff on the fraternities. I haven't ruled out that there could have been something with them, but I don't know. When you take a deep dive into Smiley Face, you will find that you have to wonder if these people were targeted, because so many of them came from a fraternity or from a college. They go to another town, they're on an outing of some kind, an event, they're partying, and this happens. It makes you wonder a whole lot if they're targeted before they ever leave their school. And how are they targeted? Is it from social media? What is it? There's another place to deep dive. Okay? Just saying. All right. Now, this is very, very disturbing. We have another missing guy. Okay? This is the third one that I know of this year. Now, there are other people that go missing. There are other people that, certainly are unalived or something in Nashville. But it's still May. We already have 3 guys. This one right here, his name is Ben Patrick. Now I'm going to show you the map. We're going to look a little bit about him. I really am. I don't know. I guess I feel kind of devastated. Now let me be the first one to say he does not necessarily fit into smiley face. However, I'm just going to say this. If smiley face is involved, then we're talking transient gang members, transient homeless. If you missed that video, smiley face is about homeless, yes, but there are people homeless that are like, I don't know, it's kind of like their career. They're transient and they go to different camps. They make they have a route that they make, and they are usually affiliated with some gang member or gang. And they also, but they can fit in with the homeless, okay? And they have some kind of power, authority in these areas. So when they come into town, it's kind of like a joint effort between, and some people have said that it is a Nashville thing, as, bartenders are involved. Look, I don't know. I want to see that. I'm not saying it's not, because I've heard it from too many people. I have to say there probably is something going on there. But transient homeless, college kid drinking, getting close to the river, that is classic smiley face. This guy, Ben, is not. But if you are, and okay, most of these smiley face cases you've never heard of, okay, because they always get the review from the police. Oh, it was an accidental death. They drank too much, whatever. They lost their balance. They fell in the water. They drowned without water in their lungs. But yeah, that's what they did. Over 300 plus cases in the U.S. that we know of. That's an awful lot of college kids falling in the water, intoxicated, especially when some of them absolutely hated the water, wouldn't go near the water, or it was too cold to be down by the water. But if I were in a situation where I was responsible or knew who was, or it did fall into the smiley face category, I would not want to do another, and that got so much attention. Riley Strang nationwide. Okay, usually you don't hear about it. But now, if smiley face wants to continue their work, then, because it's a group of people, okay, if they want to continue, they're not going to be able to use that same MO in Nashville so soon after Riley, because you know what's going to happen? All of us YouTubers, we're going to be right back, and TikTokers and whatever. We're all going to be back down there asking the same questions, making the same comparisons. And I'm not saying it is. I don't know what happened to this guy, but this is disturbing. Okay, so he was missing just from Sunday. So this is brand spanking new. Around 4:30 p.m. He's 5'3", 125 pounds, 35 years old. Now, I'm going to show you some other pictures, too. To me, he looks younger than 35, but, and especially at a distance. I mean, and we'll go into why that could be, but he was last seen wearing a tan Carhartt lime green Harley Davidson shirt and Harley Davidson riding boots. Now, those ain't cheap, people. He left on foot for a gas station and did not return. So if you look at these numbers, I hope you can see these numbers. Maybe I'll, if you can't see them, let me put this up here for just a second. Let me take myself off. I don't know if you can see that any better or not. All right. I don't know. Can you see it? Anyway, this is a brand new thing. So let me tell you a little bit about Ben Patrick, and I know very little because I just found out about this case. But he was, and I don't know where he's originally from, but he was maybe Memphis. I know he was in Memphis. He went to a concert in Memphis. He has a friend in Nashville, and I'm like, it's a good distance from Memphis to Nashville. I'm thinking it's about 4 hours at least, maybe more. But he leaves Memphis, goes to Nashville to a friend's house, and while he's there, he decides, you know what, I'm going to go to the store and I'm going to walk. So let me show you, though. Here's some more pictures of him. Look at, see, when I look at a picture like this, I'm thinking he looks like he could be younger. I assume his bike. I really don't know, and I'm sorry. I will bring you more information as I find it. Let me pull this though. All right, and I know we could look this up on Google Earth, but I'm not going to do it tonight because we're talking about a lot of things. But if you look where that red mark is, that is Wesley Avenue. Wesley Avenue? Wesley Street? Wesley Avenue, I think is what it is. Anyway, I looked at that because, you know, I have to wonder, how close are you to the Cumberland River? So you look down here, this black, that looks like a big road, this black thing, snaky looking thing, that is the Cumberland River. All right. So he is not just close like Riley was. He is further out. But you can see, so here's the thing. He didn't go missing near the river. No chance that he fell in the river. I hope that he is found. I hope that he is not found in the river. But if he is, you can definitely see that there will have been an abduction, because right up here, you're not even close. You're not even close. Let me show you another one. Now, I don't know. Again, there's only one person I could find who was like a friend of his on TikTok, and she didn't give a whole lot of information, just what she knew about, the basics. But you can see here where this purple arrow is. This is, close, the white mark. And then it's really not that far. If you look over here, there's a marathon station. So I don't know if he was planning to walk all the way to the marathon. I didn't see, when I got closer, I didn't see anything closer than that. And I looked up gas stations. Now, there could be a store, there could be something closer than that. But yeah, that's where he was going at 4:30 in the afternoon. And here's the thing. 4:30 in the afternoon on Sunday, guess what? It was very light outside. The days are getting longer and longer. So it wasn't dark at all. And this guy just disappears. Hello, Carol. How are you doing? So yeah, I mean, this was disturbing to me because unlike the other case, and I'm going to touch just a little bit just to remind you about Matthew, the other guy that's missing, this one just seemed to be having a normal day. Now, he doesn't fit the MO of clubbing and all that kind of stuff, but he is younger, and as Smiley Face is growing, this is terrible. Like, even some females are being targeted now, and they're attributing them to Smiley Face. So I don't know. That's kind of new, but they do acknowledge that that's a thing. So they also say that there are some that are a little bit older, because the general age for Smiley Face is somewhere between 18 and where is it? 18 and 26, somewhere around there. And so he could appear younger. He also could have appeared, I don't know, because these Smiley Face victims are more affluent. Okay, they come from a good situation. Were his boots expensive? He was wearing tan Carhartt pants. Again, not a cheap brand. Everything about him said Harley. So was he targeted, or was it just, I don't know. But I was really upset about this, because this makes the third guy from Nashville just this year. There's some more. Okay, again, you can see up here in his little face, look what a little baby face he's got. See, he looks younger. He looks like he could be a college kid. All right, and here is the last one missing from Memphis that I know about, and this is Matthew Parasini. Again, now, this was a completely different case, okay? Completely different in that he did have some mental health issues. He was riding a bus from New York to Texas. He gets off of the bus in Nashville. I've been to that station. If you went with me on that video, sketch. Man, what a very sketch area, and very dangerous. I mean, like, really dangerous, okay? There's only one store right there that he could have went to. They hypothesized that he got off the bus to go to the store, get something to drink, something to eat. Maybe there is like a little food place right there across from the bus station, and that he missed the bus. However, he hasn't been seen. His family, and he had nothing to steal. He didn't have a phone. He didn't have a smartwatch. He really didn't have very much money. He had nothing. And so, when I went there, it's pretty obvious that there are so many homeless right there, like all over the place. And even though it's far from the river, it made me think that he probably did get involved with people in the homeless camps. And I mean, he could be walking around the streets of Nashville and nobody recognizes him because nobody is bringing this to anybody's attention. I did ride around and look for him. The end of the day I was there, I want to go back. Now we've got Ben Patrick. So we've got two other missing guys, completely different, situations. But still, why are all these men going missing? And have you thought about, man, I'm hearing, you've got Caleb Harris, you've got, oh my gosh, there's so many others. I can't think off the top of my head. What is it about this year that we have so many young men missing? Like, usually it's kids or women. You see it all the time. It's like a daily thing. And I'm not saying it's not still happening, but you don't see as many guys that seem to be abducted. Now, this guy, Ben Patrick, go back to his description. He's 5'3" and 125 pounds. So he is a smaller human. That unfortunately makes it easier. If he wasn't, if he didn't have a weapon, it makes it easier for somebody to either overpower, abduct, or whatever. Whatever is happening to these guys. I mean, me, I'm harder to abduct. Is that way more than that? So, ladies, go ahead and have that extra cupcake, okay? You're just keeping yourself safe from being kidnapped. I would also fight like a wildcat. So, but no, I mean, that's the thing. Logistically, it is easier to abduct somebody who is a smaller person. If you think about Rex Heuermann, again, the Lisk, that he always chose women, even though he was a big old guy. He always chose victims who were little bitty, tiny, petite girls. I know, Carol, you've said this a bunch of times. The Temple of Athena in downtown Nashville. I would love to, if you have anything on that. I've looked it up, but I really didn't find much. I looked it up like weeks ago when I saw you say that, but I couldn't find what it actually, I don't know. If you can tell me, I would love to know. Also, Carol, I need to talk to you probably. If you have any knowledge or resources or somewhere that you can let me know. I want to. Sorry, Mina, hush. I want to find the trafficking line between Florida and South Carolina. So, if you know anything about that, please tell me. I would love to know. All right. So, wow. Let me make sure. So, we've got Matthew. Okay, let's go back to now. Mica Miller. Man, this case. I hope y'all are hydrated. And I am trying not to go too long today. Because I have to get up really, really early in the morning. Do you check the soup kitchens? Pillow turquoise. Oh, no, I haven't. I really, honestly, I really want to go back to Nashville. I want to get some. I want to go back to Nashville. I realize how dangerous it is. I have to go with the right people. And I probably will go back sometime soon. I also want to go to South Carolina, but I've got so much going on here. I don't know. It's probably going to be a month and a half before I can get out there. Sometime this summer, and it's going to be hot. Nashville's going to be hot too. But yeah, I do. And I plan to go back to Nashville. But that is a good idea. I need to look up that. There's also some other people I want to talk, some other agencies in the area that I want to talk to. Yes. Oh, you're right. Buckeye. See, I did this. Oh my gosh. Okay. Hold on. Let me have a think here. You see the smoke? It's coming from my ears. Not really. I feel like it. Okay, yes, I covered this in a few videos ago about Riley. There's a theory that the names and places, etc., are related in these cases. One missing is Harley Morris. Yes, thank you. Now this new guy wears a Harley shirt. Yes, and I have been trying to trail that. As a matter of fact, I think it was yesterday. I was just looking up all kind of random stuff trying to find that connection. But understand, y'all, that Smiley Face is in the U.S., but it is also suspected in some other places, especially because it has to do with this, too. So many times, if you'll look at victims, and I wish, if you're studying Smiley Face, look up Kevin Gannon, and I can't remember his name. Duarte is his last name, but Gannon and Duarte are the ones that have worked the Smiley Face for so many years. Kevin Gannon started with it. Go watch. He's done a few interviews, not a ton, but he's done a few interviews with people on YouTube. And listen to everyone, because he gives you a little bit of different information in each one. But I would love to have Kevin Gannon's list of the 300 plus names, because you can start looking. It's weird stuff. It's like, that's why I was looking at Riley. I'm like, okay, who was the next one? Because there's the next one. He was at Luke 32's. Like, what about Riley? Is it his first name? Is it going to be a place? Is it going to be a town? Is it going to be that bar name? I don't know. I was looking up, trying to find any missing people or unalived people in having anything to do with Riley, and that could be anywhere in the United States. But yeah, you're absolutely right. I didn't think about that. Harley Morris is the other one. And yeah, he wears a Harley shirt. Is it coincidence? It could be. Okay. It could be. But then you turn around, and when you have so many victims, and there's always a coincidence, or very often a coincidence, that someone is found like that, how many times before it's not a coincidence? You know what I'm saying? Okay. Now, let's shift gears to Mica Miller. Here are some things that was in a group And this was so interesting because, the last couple of videos I did, I was looking at a lot of the businesses, the LLCs and stuff that Tom Winslow and some others, right? My gut feeling, I could be wrong, all right? I could be wrong. My gut feeling is we're going to find a lot more stuff than just Mica. And my hope is that once we do, it's going to make it much easier for someone to say that Mica, like Jeffrey Epstein, didn't, undo himself. I think it would be if we can find other stuff going on that she potentially knew about or could blow the whistle on. I think it's going to be easier to get that connection to her undoing. Does that make sense? So sometimes, again, you have to come through the back door, the side door, through a window, crawl down the chimney, whatever you got to do to get to this place. So I found this interesting. This is from Ray, I guess this is Jenna. Also check out the lawyer for J.P. Miller. He is the registered agent for a South Carolina LLC that holds land that borders the state park. Okay, this must be talking about that land. Oh my gosh, and so much stuff. We gotta talk about this, y'all. It's under CJTW. Am I reading that right? CJTW Holdings, approximately 167 acres. We are a Florence family who is in the county, where the Millers began their churches in the 70s. So that would have been with Wayne. Listen to this. Ironically, all their churches burnt to the ground while they were for sale. Whoa, hello. Does this sound like Indiana? Not necessarily churches, but like, woo. This is a thing, y'all. It's a thing. Just Indiana might as well just go up and poof in flames. Especially like the Delphi area, those counties over there, like, whoa. Y'all, Indiana burning. Okay. Especially in this, ironically, all the churches burnt to the ground while they were for sale, and the newspaper called them suspicious. Yeah. There are victims who are scared to speak out. Another Florence family began exposing corruption when millions went missing from a trust and also faced harassment, tires slashed, threats, etc. Wow, where have we heard all this kind of stuff before? The family is close friends with the victims of the Millers. Hold on, let me come down here. We can send evidence, and this again is a private group. Most don't have. We can send evidence most don't have, and feel free to vet it. People are scared to speak out, and no one should live in fear. Agreed. Also, the Florence attorney who facilitated the transfer of millions from the Florence family also allegedly unalived himself, and ironically called 911 before he did it. The connection most believe is between Florence and Myrtle Beach, but again, scared to speak out. Now, this attorney, because I'm not gonna go, I want to dedicate a whole time for this because we have so many different things. I'm just trying to update you on this one, then we'll take a deep dive. But I did look up this attorney from the description, and I believe it would be Gary Crawford. And if it happened recently, because he did, if you Google South Carolina or Florence, South Carolina attorney who committed unaliving of self, you will come up with one name. It's Gary Crawford. And he was older, but this happened in 2023, so it's only about a year old. I was like, there was a lot, and it had to do with the trust, and it had to do with money missing and all that kind of stuff, so we will take a deep dive in that. Interesting. So now I'm going to have to make this bigger. All right, Little Spicy Bookworm. Now, I know this is Reddit. Not always reliable. But you gotta understand, you gotta know who these people are. Don't know. I assume she doesn't mind people knowing, but I'm not gonna say it just in case she does. Little Spicy Bookworm is a family member of Mica, a close family member. Okay. And this was just something that was pulled out. And she says, yes, we will be fighting. And there is another family member I know that has another site. But again, privacy. We will be fighting to get all of the records. Not only was she forced to be hospitalized against her will, but also betrayed by Reverend Randall. Her husband had been, listen to this. Okay, now if you don't remember, Reverend Randall is the guy that she went to Africa with. Remember? Yeah. I don't even know what to say about y'all reverends and pastors and what kind of people y'all got out there in South Carolina, in Myrtle Beach. Why don't y'all just move to Delphi? It's the same thing. Same thing. They like to set things on fire too. Okay. Her husband had been withholding her meds from her, and she begged Randall for help. It is my understanding that he told her that he would get her meds and meet her, and she would be safe. When she met him, he did not have them, and instead had JP and the cops waiting in the shadows when she arrived and had her committed. Yay! Doing the work of God, I see. Jeez. I'm going to get hot on this one. I just know I am. If you are being manipulated by someone who makes you believe you are mentally unwell to try to confide in your secondary pastor who is supposed to be your friend and a person whom you can trust that repeatedly told you to work out your marriage when you went to him for help and guidance, would you not start to feel betrayed and truly isolated and alone in this world? Yes. 100%. Yes. Yeah. So then there's this other one underneath here. It says this. I have read and listened to every detail from anyone and everyone that I feel can be trusted as having accurate information in regard to Mica's case, and I'm just now seeing this post from you. Was her medication still being withheld from her? Good question. Do you think it's a possibility that this same tactic is why she ended up at the park? That's exactly what I was thinking when I read this. Even if it wasn't her medication, it could have been something else that someone, possibly Reverend Randall, possibly Tom Winslow, made her believe they were bringing to her or helping her with. This really felt like an aha moment as soon as I read it. Yeah, to me too, because, it would certainly explain. Okay, I don't think it was Randall. All right, I don't believe it was Randall because he'd already betrayed her. Unless, I don't know, unless he had gained her trust back, but I think it was likely someone else that she was close to that JP manipulated or somebody manipulated and said, hey, meet me here. I mean, that is a very good possibility. All right. And that's what she was doing out there. Because if you listen, there's a whole lot of stuff. All right. Let me see what's next before. Okay. Yeah. We can stay here for a minute. If you think about it, okay, I listened to that 911 call again. I've listened to it a bunch of times. And, there's all kind of things that, we have issues with. But as I listened to it, I was thinking about, and this has been days ago, and now I see like everybody's saying this, but that's fine. They asked her where she was. And she says Fair Bluff, but she wasn't in Fair Bluff. So when she said Fair Bluff, this is like days ago, I got on the map and I'm like, where's Fair Bluff? It's not, it's not far, but it's not like that close either to Lumber State Park. What is that? Anyway, I'm like, so was there a sign? But the way she drove, that wouldn't have been through Fair Bluff, but do you know, interestingly enough, and you'll find this on TikTok and other places too, what is in Fair Bluff is a police station across from a church. So that makes me wonder, could there be surveillance video to a Baptist church that in Fair Bluff? You've got a church, and we'll look at this on a map when I do another Mica Miller, but you have the police station across the street, and then you have a boat launch ramp, a boat ramp, right there at the back of the church on the river. It's in Fair Bluff. So a lot of people have speculated, did they put her on a boat because where she was, look, the whole thing is sketch. The water didn't move. We're going to look at all that. But it would certainly make you wonder if she went by boat. Did she meet somebody? Maybe they said, hey, come to Fair Bluff. Did she? Was she trying to get something? I mean, I don't even know if it would be her meds, but maybe it was some other kind of meetup. But now there is a very, there's a very good theory, in my opinion, that she was taken by boat. Maybe Tom had something to do with it. There is even I can't remember the name. Oh my goodness. There's a TikToker who does enhance the audio, and it does sound, they're like little creaks on a boat. If it depends. If you are used to boats, you've been on boats a lot, they do creak. They make all kind of noise. It could be. Yeah. So that would make more sense as to where she was found rather than, look, it's so bogus. Her body's in the water. The shell casings are 130 feet away. Come on. But yeah, and people are beginning to wonder, did she come by water? It is quite possible. But if she was in Fair Bluff, and that's the last town she remembered, okay, if you had to be driving, even if none of that happened that way, you had to pass Fair Bluff, right? Go through Fair Bluff, whatever, a sign somewhere. Is there some more surveillance? That's what we need to know. Is there video from the police station from somewhere in Fair Bluff that would show not only Mica's car, but anybody else's car that might have followed her or preceded her? Yeah. And then now on the bottom here, this is just if you want to read. Hush. If you want to read about Crawford, just Google this, and it's from Fitz News. I don't have the article pulled up because, again, we'll take another look in that. I want to look deeper in that. But then the top one, this is also somebody who commented on one of my videos. Molly Bloom said the ministers' work in other countries is a red flag. Yes, I said this from day one. It seems they can use young girls in these countries without the scrutiny of U.S. laws. Exactly. And that is exactly what I think. Now, again, does that necessarily have anything to do with, Mica? I don't know. I would be shocked. I mean, honestly, for real, I would be shocked if Wayne Miller, JP's dad, had all this crap going on in Pakistan and everywhere else and all these arrests and fraud and inappropriate behavior. I'd be shocked if he was not involved in some kind of inappropriate behavior, trafficking of females and or males, whether that be for carnal purposes or whether that be for, working. Because he definitely had them working for free. Basically illegally, not feeding them properly, giving them proper shelter for his Bible college. So if he's going to do that, how many more people could have slipped through the cracks? Oh my gosh, my brain goes before my mouth. No, my mouth goes before my brain. That's what it is, right? Okay. Anyway, how many people could have been trafficked over here during that time? And there's very good money. When I tell you statistics of trafficking, and I've got that somewhere, it's in it's a billions and billions of dollar business in this country. All right, it's not a few people, it's billions of dollars to be made from trafficking. Mostly the easiest people are migrants, like I said last time, illegals, migrants, people, even minorities, people who are undocumented. That's so easy. So you tell me that with all that we know Wayne Miller did, that he wasn't doing something nefarious. And okay, then let's trickle down. I don't have that link yet. I'm working on it. JP saw all this growing up. There's no telling what he actually participated in, even as a young adult, or knew what's going on. Yeah. I think it would be very easy for JP and some of these LLCs that don't seem to have any presence on the internet or anything else, like they don't seem to have any actual business presence that I can find. It would be very interesting to see if there is a link there to trafficking. Let me go back to what Carol was saying. What? Most of the ravines surrounding Nashville were caused by asteroids or meteorite impacts? I had no idea. Huh. I had no idea. Carol, you're so funny. Virtue signaling clergy are as common as Carter's liver pills. All right, Georgia, let's see. Just catching up. I live close to Nashville. We had bad thunderstorms all around downtown and nearby areas. Bad storms exactly at 4:30 on Sunday. Okay. I hadn't heard anything about Ben except from you. Georgia, I just heard about it. It was either I've been up at all hours of the night the last couple of, I don't know, my sleep pattern is bizarre. It was probably dark 30 in the morning when I saw it. And then when I got up this morning, I was trying to research it. It's often wondered why Parthenon and even how, when it was built. I wouldn't be surprised if it was there a lot longer than we're told. Are you talking about the Temple of Athena? I don't know. Like I said, if anybody can find, the stuff I found on it was so generic. I know it's somewhere, but I'm not sure. Anyway, as far as Mica goes and the ridiculousness that goes on in that area, I am looking for, and I do have a map where it shows, and you can go to, I think the website is called Polaris, and they show you a map of the trafficking cities. And I'm going to tell you, where it's really red, all the red dots are, the hot spots are like from Florida, as I suspected, from Florida up to South Carolina into North Carolina, but all through there, because what happens, you get people in Florida, okay, the southernmost part, or even somewhere in the south, you get them to Florida. You can't keep them there. It's too sus. The best thing you can do once you get them across the border is you've got to disperse them. So it's easy to go up the East Coast. There's also a lot of trafficking in some other places. So, but it is a very high concentration. And then again, around Atlanta. So do I think that there is something potentially going on? Even if it isn't the carnal trafficking, if it's like so many people, actually more people are brought into this country to work as slaves than for the other part of it, which there's plenty of that. But yeah, go research. You'll find out. Yeah, people are getting free labor. So yeah, I'm thinking there could have been an element to that. Now, if there was an element in any of these things between these shell companies or these whatever companies that don't seem to really be in business and Tom Winslow, Wayne Miller, JP, any of these people that are involved in this, you see why I'm looking here? Because if there's not enough to implicate JP in her death as of yet, although I have heard that they are looking into it, that maybe because the same thing I'm thinking, maybe they're finding some other nefarious businesses that if Mica knew about, she would be very, very dangerous. You see why he couldn't let her go. He couldn't just divorce her or, let her divorce him and let her go because she knew too much. See? So if you can go around the side, go around the side of the house, open a window, peek inside. Let's see what's going on. Because if you can show other things that the FBI might be interested in, then you might be able to get on that trail and build, some probable cause, maybe. Above the clouds. Oh, thank you. This one was not as deep as I'm going. I'm going further in, definitely in Nashville and going further with Mica Miller, no doubt. All right, I know I have kept y'all forever. When will Flat Earth Effect? I love your name, Flat Earth Effect. When will JP run? I kind of thought he would already, but now I think he's going to have a hard time because now the FBI is looking at everything. And honestly, I think, this is just my opinion, but is he a narcissist? 100% diagnosis of narcissism. I mean, some people are just narcissistic, but not a narcissist. He is, and I believe I would, in my unprofessional opinion, I would call him a malignant narcissist. I don't know if anybody's seen him or not. The only reason that I think he hasn't, I think there are two reasons. One is that he's being watched really closely. And the other one is, I believe, being a malignant narcissist, in my opinion, he would honestly believe that he can get out of this because he's done it in the past. Think about it. He ran over a woman. He really gets out of that one. He gets divorced. Okay, in most denominations, in most churches, if you go through a divorce, you cannot hold an office in the church. You can come, but you can't hold an office. I think maybe some denominations are relaxing a little bit on that, but it's always been a thing. But that's even if, no matter what the circumstances, when you, as a pastor, have an affair with somebody in the congregation and you end up divorced because of that and then marrying the person that you had the affair with, you don't get to be a pastor again. Okay? It's very rare. You might could be an evangelist. You might could... I'm not saying that people wouldn't let you preach after a time of healing and, whatever. But to hold that position again after all that, JP is not used to losing, okay? In his head, he can do anything he wants, right? He's already done some sick and vile things with Mica. And he's still pastoring the church, and some of these people know. Some of these people have been so abused, even other congregation members, and yet he's still the pastor. So in his narcissistic head, he probably thinks I'll get away with it. It'll all blow over. It'll all blow over. I don't have to run. Even if I'm found guilty. Dang, his dad was found guilty of stuff and his record was expunged. Like, they just took it. You can't even find it anymore. It was expunged. What kind of connections do these people have? Or how much money do they have? So I tell you, wasn't it not 5.9 million for that little church? Dang, and the value of all their holdings. Yeah, I think that's why he hasn't run. I think he honestly believes that he's going to get out of this because he always has. And he probably is telling himself he's no different than anybody else. Very, very interesting, Buckeye. Athena in Nashville is about 3 miles from Luke's Bar and 3 miles from Nissan Stadium. And right there, close, was down just a little bit. Well, we don't know. We don't know where he fell in, where he went in the water. Where we were was just a little bit down from, but it was right there. I mean, it's a very large place. That it was across the water. Because you get that 33, don't you? Interesting. Hello, Hiawatha. Good to see you. All right. The Millers are criminals. In my opinion, too. I agree 100%. Criminals, and they've always gotten away with it, so why wouldn't they now? JP doesn't have to run. In his head, he's not going to get caught. But see, there is something that JP doesn't understand that's different. And it's called the internet. It's called YouTube. It's called TikTok. It's called Instagram, Facebook, Reddit. We have all these people now. Whereas had this happened, back in the early 90s, probably, maybe even in the mid 90s to early 2000s, maybe it wouldn't be, as concentrated. But now you've got all of us. We're all asking questions, and guess what? We've got that internet. We're digging. We're making connections. Now it's going to be a whole lot harder to hide your secrets. And there's going to be a whole lot more people that demand justice for what you're doing. Yeah, God is not dwelling in that house. Faux show. If they're connected in high places, I'm talking about moving humans. Yes, I like that term. That is a good way to say that. Moving humans. Thank you. Yes, I think they are. When you are moving humans, you usually have to have some good connections, I know, you know what, that was terrible. That was a terrible video, but you know what? I don't know if he was having a true psychosis. I don't know. It was definitely not something I'd want to show my face ever in public if somebody had a video of me doing that. FBI is the cavalry in my mind. That hot agent told my ex, an unscrupulous therapist, to back off on the fake psych assessment or else. Look, there's so much. And then, if you saw one of my last videos, that it wasn't a live, it was just a video where I was looking at the Winslow law site, and they're saying that the law firm website, they were saying that was not correctly notarized by the person that said it was, but it says right in his bio that Tom is a notary, so let's whip out that stamp, forge your signature. Why not? Come on. All right. So those are the things that I know right now. Again, gonna be really looking at Ben Patrick. I hope he's found. But that makes sense. What you said about it being really stormy during that time. I wonder if it started storming, if it wasn't raining when he decided to take off on foot, and then maybe the storm came. But if it's a torrential downpour, no matter if you're walking or what, how easy would it be for somebody who looks like a family or somebody in a nice, decent vehicle, whatever, to say, hey, buddy, you're getting wet. You know, you need a ride. Did that happen? I'm going to tell you something. All of these vehicles, like certain vehicles, especially dark SUVs and dark cars, they very much play into smiley face and abductions. You can see, I don't know if they're the same ones making circles, but you can see it in Riley Strang's surveillance. You know, the different ones, you can see a possibility. The night that CJ and I went walking down further away from the bridge, and we were all over the place looking for your tempo. I've looked at that video. I looked at it a couple months ago. I looked at that video and I counted all of the dark SUVs and or trucks and or cars that passed coming and going. And I had a long, long list. I don't know if all of those were the same, but it was like that night that we were out there, almost like 98% of the vehicles that passed us were black. Either black SUVs or black cars that looked similar. What the heck? Don't y'all have any other color cars in Nashville? Anyway, I know I'm going back and forth on these cases, but I'm just like responding to your comments. I think a lot of this stuff is demonic. No doubt. No doubt about it. All right. Whew. If you have any information that you want to give to me, you want me to talk about, anything that you found out, please email me. I do have Facebook. It's a tiny little page. Silky Southern Tea on Facebook. You can Facebook Messenger me. A lot of people do. I don't use Instagram anymore. I just don't. I get horrible messages from people. I do have a TikTok. But also you can email me at silkyandsouthern@gmail. If you are on my Discord, just send me a message there. That's I see it quicker than anything else on Discord. All right, we're going to keep looking. We're going to keep digging in all these cases. And, yeah, it's going to be interesting what all happens. All right, I hope you all have a great rest of the week. I'm going to be working. But also, whoa. Also, stay safe. Whatever you do, come on, stay silky. And I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.